still don't have an intro, and I promise you guys, there's no intro coming in the short term, the mid term, the long term, the very long term. There will not be an intro on this channel, that's for sure. However, in this video, there will be a lot of content initially about my course coming up. A lot of people have been asking in the comments. I haven't been able to give some information because not everything's been confirmed and I haven't been able to do everything and have it all ready. But now I'm in a position where I can give all the information out. Lots of really interesting information, which I've really had to hold back. But now it is going to come out in this video. However, I know lots of you guys are just not interested in the course. You don't want to spend the money on a course. You don't like listening to me too much about poker. You watch the videos to see me lose pots, not win pots, all that kind of stuff. That's fine. If you're not interested in buying the course, please stop the video now. Go forward 3 or 4 minutes and just watch the main action of this video. The main action of this video is going to be me playing heads up in a tournament. So I win, or I'm in the final 2 players of a big 1K blowout series tournament. I'm going to give my thoughts and articulation about every single spot in the heads up portion of this tournament. I started as an underdog. I got chip lead. I went back down to really interesting heads up. I play against a really talented Brazilian player. So hopefully you're going to enjoy this video. So if you're not interested in the calls, please don't just click off the video. Just stop the video, scroll forward 3 or 4 minutes and just watch me play heads up against this Brazilian. And it should be a pretty interesting video. So guys, I actually spoke all the stuff about the course, all the different things. There's so much to speak about. So it actually goes on for around 13 minutes where I speak about this. So if you have no interest, just skip forward 13 minutes and go forward to where I'm playing the heads up. So that means you don't have to stop at 5 minutes and see where I'm speaking. Click forward to 13 minutes and that's where you can see the main content from this video coming out about me playing heads up. So the first piece of new information about the course, which no one's going to know, is that I've decided to partner with Run It Once Training. I've been a member of Run It Once since 2012, so for 8 or 9 years now, I paid the subscription fee for the elite content every single month. So it's someone who I'm really happy to work with because I've been a fan of Run It Once for so many years. So to be able to say now that I'm working together with them as a partner, releasing their first ever high stakes MTT course, I think that's just such a privileged position to be in for myself. So I'm really happy to be working with them. There are some people who I look up to a lot. Galfon is a hero, a legend. Everyone in poker looks up to be with him. So working with someone who has a position in poker and a position in the industry, which I care about so much, like him, is going to be amazing. In terms of the time the course is going to be out, the course is going to be out on around about February the 8th. There's going to be some information in the information box. If you just go there and sign up for updates, you're going to get some free videos, some giveaways. You can get some more information about the course. The price point which we decided to go for is $1,000. However, it was very important for me to get a sizable discount for everyone who watches this YouTube channel, everyone who supported on Instagram, everyone who supported me down the years, everyone who's been following my blogs for years, anyone who's been interacting with me on Twitter, anyone who replies to me for hand reviews on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. So I made it very clear to Run It Once. I wanted to do $700 for the first month at least. So the people who have been really excited to buy the course get this immediate, very large discount of 30%. Usually the first month of sales is your best sales. So you charge the most money because most people are going to buy the course in the first month, right? That's how it works. Let's say Linus brings the course out tomorrow. I'm going to be really excited and buy that course. So you're incentivized to charge more money in the first month. However, for me, it's very important that people who've been very loyal to me, like you guys, get this immediate, very large discount. So yeah, that's going to be some information on the pricing when it's out and who I'm working with. So there's some really, really big news coming up now. So for me, it's very important. If you do a course and you put your name on a course, it's very important that you basically say, look, this course is going to be predominantly by me. And if anyone else makes a video on this course, I'm going to be present because I don't want to make a course and just get other people to make the content. Like, that's not what I'm about. If someone else is going to make any content, I want to be there. I want to be asking the questions as if I'm the viewer. I want to be there spending the time too, because it's very crucial that I'm asking the questions which I think people want to hear from me, you know? So I've decided to bring in 2 very, very special guests to this project. They're going to make around about 5 to 10 to 15% of the course. It's going to be, first of all, Kevin Rabichow. Kevin Rabichow is a Run It Once elite coach. He's one of the best heads-up players in the world. He is the best heads-up coach in the world, I think. He's a guy who won the Heads-Up Legends Showdown like 4 months ago. Basically, the Heads Up Showdown was a Run It Once showdown where they invited the best Heads Up players in the world, Make, Boig Finn, Philomeses, Fido Holtz, all these guys together. They played a battle, kind of Champions League format, knockout format, and Kevin won all of this. He became the legend of Heads Up, and to me, Heads Up is a huge, huge, huge part of MTT Poker, which I haven't really been seen spoken about so much elsewhere. The pay jump between second to first is usually so much. It's the biggest pay jump in the whole tournament, of course, and it's a place in poker where you have to play so different. You go from playing 25% VPIP, or if you're playing an ICM situation, you may be playing 10% VPIP, to suddenly playing 100% VPIP. So Kevin's going to be here going through all of Heads Up with me. But again, I'm going to be there for every video. We're going to be making videos together. I'm just going to be asking him questions and getting his point of view and his thought process on stuff. So it gives you both my view, pads on pads, pads on Heads Up, but also getting Kevin's outside view as well, just so you can be very sure, because I'm not a Heads Up. I don't play Heads Up 24/7. You know, I play tournaments, and I believe that I'm good at Heads Up part of tournaments, but it's important for me to get a specialist from Heads Up to come in and make this content together with me. Second of all, I think bounties are just so crucial for tournaments. Like, so much of tournaments are including bounties. So I wanted to give someone a project to work only on the bounty side of tournaments. I wanted to choose a player who, first of all, I know very well. Second of all, plays the highest stakes, because that's going to be very crucial. Third of all, was a huge winner last year. And fourth of all, someone who's an amazing coach. So the player that I went with is Pone Diddy. Pone Diddy, first of all, he came to BitB as a 50 ABI player. He left BitB playing 5Ks and 10Ks. He gets staked, and people buy his action for the highest games in the world. So the best players in the world want to buy his action in the biggest tournaments in the world, which is a huge sign that he's an amazing player. Last year, I believe he made over $700,000 in profit. He's a Run It Once elite coach, and he's one of the best coaches everywhere. He's a legend, and he's going to be making the bounty side. He's doing all the math for the bounty side, and then we're coming together to make the duo videos, talking all about the bounty side of MTT. So this was very, very crucial for me, and both Alex and Kevin are going to just be absolutely amazing additions. I could have honestly made another course about bounties, another course about Heads Up, and charged 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, and made 3 times as much money. And people would have been definitely buying, because it's just going to be such amazing content. But I didn't want to do this. From day one, I've always said, I want everything to be involved in this one course. I don't want to start selling add-ons and this and that and the other. And that was so crucial to me, because, you know, it's so easy to just make 3 times as much money this way and milk people for 3 times as much. That's not what I want to do. I want to have everything included in this initial $700. People were also saying to me, maybe add in the Heads Up if people buy in the first week, but that's not what's going to happen. This Heads Up portion of the course, this bounty portion of the course, this is going to be available whenever. If you decide to buy this course in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever it may be, you will always get this content. So the next piece of information, which I thought was really crucial to make, is most of my volume comes on PokerStars and Party Poker. However, I understand a lot of people play on rooms like ACR, 888, GG Poker, as well as Party and Stars. What I've done is I'm going to have 5 different hand reviews from a big winner on each side. So I'm going to have a big winner from ACR, big winner from PokerStars, big winner from Party Poker, a big winner from 888, and a big winner from GG. And I'm going to speak to them in their hand review where they win a big tournament on each side. I'm going to speak to them about what little differences they make versus this player pool, which makes them a big winner on this side versus the other sides. Where they think people overfold, where they think people overcall, where they think it's a good spot to bluff, where they think it's a good spot to value bet light. I think this is so crucial to make, because I could say all of this stuff about how to play on Party, how to play on Stars, but if I'm not realizing this one thing which happens on, say, American sites, then it may not be relevant for everyone. So this is what I'm going to do. I think this is going to be a very good, unique part of the course where I'm doing a hand history review from a different winner from a different site on each of them. To me, this is something which I would want to see if I was a viewer from a different site. So this is something which I thought was very important to give. Okay, so the last piece of unique information which I'm going to give here about the course is essentially, I believe it's important to keep the course up to date. I could release another course in 6 months, up to date, 2021, how to play poker, 2022. But what I want to do is do monthly videos every single month from now for at least the next 12 months, I will guarantee. I'm going to be releasing monthly videos of how I think the game is slightly changing, because things do slightly change. People do start free betting more from here, or c betting more from here, or check raising more here, or maybe some new theoretical content comes out, or maybe a big winner starts doing something and everyone starts imitating it. So every month I'm going to be doing up-to-date videos, keeping the course up to date for at least 12 months. And I believe this is going to be very good, and this is going to be for free. I'm not going to charge any more money for this. This is going to give just an additional, say, 10% of the course for free, essentially. Okay, so in general, there's going to be around about 100 videos. If there's 96 and you're like, where's my 4 videos, Pads? Like, sorry, it's going to be around about 100 videos. I'm going to be speaking a lot about theory, advanced kind of theory. I don't want to really do what other courses have done, just give like pre-flop charts out. I want to kind of move on from pre-flop charts. So instead of looking at pre-flop charts, I'm going to try to look at stuff like mixed stack sizes. So like not just what happens when there's 20 big blinds, 20 big blinds, 20 big blinds, 20 big blinds, what maybe happens when you start having 20 big blinds, 15 big blinds, 50 big blinds, 100 big blinds, all on the same table, because you can't follow pre-flop charts when that happens. What I try to do throughout the course is give mechanics for you to make decisions in-game. I don't want you to get stressed, like I need to do this, or I need to do that, or this coach says you need to see bet 55% of the time here, or 76% of the time here. What I'm trying to do is give mechanics for you to make good decisions in-game. I'm going to always give you the baseline, always give you what GTO is, but always look into what the population does from a weak point of view that we can exploit it as well. So I'll always try to give you two sides of the coin. So I'm going to run a sim always with what is GTO, but then I'm going to give node lock sims as well, where I say, okay, well, I believe that this actually happens and they fold too much in this spot, or I believe they don't see bet all of these hands. Because of that, this is what we should actually be doing. And then when you take away these kind of mechanics, it helps you make decisions in game when you're playing against tighter players, when you're playing against looser players, and also when you are playing against players who are closer to GTO, you also have the baseline and have that mechanic as well to kind of go from. I'm going to be talking about pre-flop, like I said, post-flop, in position, out of position, 3-bet pots, 4-bet pots, ICM, bubbles, final tables, heads up, bounties, mental game, how to approach poker. Yeah, I'm covering basically everything. Like I said, I don't want to do another course in 6 months. Every single thing about poker, I'm going to try to include in this course. 10 big blind poker, 20 big blind poker, 30 big blind poker, 60 big blind poker, 100 big blind poker, when to overbet, when to bet small, what to do on turns after you check raise, how to play your river sizings, river size in theory, turn size in theory, river size and exploits, turn size and exploits. I'm going into absolutely everything which I know. I think final tables, loads of live plays. I talk the talk as if I do theory, but I also walk the walk. I play high stakes tournaments. I win high stakes tournaments and show all the hands I played on the final table. I speak about what other people do in their games and how they should maybe play slightly different, in my opinion. Yeah, I talk about stuff like how to push your equity, how to realize your equity, how to do all sorts of stuff with the equity, because poker is an equity game. So that's going to be obviously the main focus throughout of how to get the maximum out of the equity we have, and how to punish our opponent's play and not let him realize or her realize all of their equity. So there's going to be around about 100 videos. I don't want to say every single video there will be, but I'm going to cover as much stuff as possible essentially. So I just want to speak a little bit about other courses and my opinion on other courses too. First of all, I just want to say that I'm never ever going to say this is the best course. Like, it's just not what I want to be about. Like, I want my marketing for this course to essentially be my YouTube channel where I speak about poker, and then also like word of mouth marketing. So if you watch it and you like it and you tell someone, I want that to be my marketing. I don't want to call myself the best course. I don't want to go on Twitter and start beef or arguments. Like, it's really not what I want to do. So yeah, that's first of all from how I'm going to market it. I'm not going to be pushing it down people's throats like that. I'm literally going to be making YouTube content. If you like the content, you will probably like how I speak about poker, and then you'll probably buy the course. Like, that's just how I'm going to market it. If you don't like how I speak about it, you're not going to market it. In terms of other courses, I think they're great. Like, other courses will be great for each person. So like, some people will like to listen to Ben CB, some people will like to listen to Matthias Eibinger, some people will like to listen to Nick Petrangelo. Like, each one's just different for different people. I've been a member of Run It One since 2012. I love their content. I've been friends with Ben CB for so long. I swap action with Ben CB at every single tournament. I ran BitB with Fedor. I'm really close friends with Jason McConnell, who's an upswing lab coach. I'm a partner or a team pro like Ape, like BBZ is. I speak with Ape Styles. Like, I don't have a bad word to say about anyone. Like, I don't necessarily like to learn from all of them, because it's impossible that you like to learn from every single coach. It's just not. It's not doable. It's not realistic. Everyone is different. That's why there's a market of different kind of coaches. So yeah, I'm not going to push marketing down people's throats. I'm also not going to get into any wars, any battles. If you are interested in more kind of content, go to the information box, sign up to the email list in there. We're going to give some free videos out. We're going to give some giveaways. You can get the course for free, that kind of stuff. We're going to give some more information, and then when it's able to buy, able to download, all that kind of stuff, that will tell you when. So please go to the information and sign up. Even if you don't necessarily want to buy it or you're just thinking about buying it, really good to go there so that I don't have to like give all the information every single video kind of thing. Anyway, gonna go into the heads up now. Hopefully you enjoy this. If you've gotten this far, thank you so much. And if you've been scrolling along to get here, thanks also for staying patient. Okay, so this was the final table. We can see Alex was also here, Pondidi, if I just pull this across. Alex actually recorded his cards too, and we're most likely going to do a dual recording of our thoughts on this final table, which is going to be pretty interesting. There's some regulars like A. Jarov and Pablos and a few others, Davidas, I think, also. So yeah, what I'm going to concentrate on mostly is the heads up part of this video, but it was a really interesting final table. I recorded live my footage for this final table, and this will be part of the course. But yeah, we are 25 big blinds deep here. I have 10-9 suited against Pablos. First of all, I think it's very crucial that you kind of understand heads up. When you play more than 60 big blinds deep, you want to have lots of raises. When you get to 40 big blinds, 30 big blinds, you want to start limping a lot more. And when you get to 20 to 25 big blinds, you want to limp a lot because you want to play every single hand heads up. You want to VPIP around about 100% on the button against the way people play, at least 90%. But if I show you here in HRC a second, so this is going to be me. Oh, I'm opening every single hand, and then I call off a range of something like, I think this is what people normally call off for 25 big blinds. So they raise the big blind shoves and they call like pocket fives, A7 suited, king 10 suited, queen jack suited, ace 8 off. You know, you might get some people flicking in A7, but I think people generally fold like ace 2, ace 3 for 25 big blinds, generally fold king 9 suited, generally fold jack 10 suited. So if your plan is to just raise a lot, and then you call off relatively tight, the big blind has a really easy exploit. He can reshove any two cards very, very happily. So if we look at 3-2 off here, we can say 3-2 off here is making loads and loads of money. It's making 20% of the money which aces is making. So if you just play a very heavy raise strategy on the button here, the big blind has a very, very easy exploit against you. So typically what we want to do is just limp a lot of hands here against anyone who's quite competent. If your opponent is very tight and passive, of course we can raise a lot more hands. But yeah, 10-9 suited, typically I'm going to go for a limp and play from there. So a6 off has a pretty interesting spot. I'm not sure if he was asking me to deal or he was saying good luck or I don't know. A6 off, he could. So A6 off versus my limp, he could definitely shove. It's a good hand to shove. It's a hand which doesn't play too great post flops. You don't really want to raise non all in. It's a hand which can make me fold hands with really good equity like 10-9, etc. And yeah, if you want to have some shoves, A6 off feels like it's a hand which could be in there. 10-9 on this board, I'm going to bet pretty aggressively. I can call a raise. He's not going to have too many raises on this board texture. He's going to raise a lot of his strong queen X preflop. So like queen jack will always raise preflop. So I don't think he's going to necessarily raise a hand like queen 2. So I'm not expecting to get many raises against me here. He goes for the check call, which is reasonable. I think I should definitely keep barreling the turn. I can make him fold a hand like jack 9 now. I can make him fold a hand like 7 free offsuit, king free offsuit. If he has a hand like 8-4, maybe he starts to fold. If he does have a queen and calls me, it's okay. I have a gut shot, flush draw. If he does have an 8 and calls me, it's okay. I have loads of equity against an 8, so I would like to see myself keep barreling here. He's also going to have some hands like king 2 of diamonds, ace 6 offsuit if he doesn't shove preflop, jack 5 of heart, well, jack 6 of hearts, stuff like that. So there's a lot of hands which I can pull out. I hope I bet. Yeah, I think my sizing is relatively efficient. It makes ace highs. These hands start to become indifferent and fold, I think. Good start. He is going for a raising strategy. So this is straight away to me. This is like, okay, this guy's going for raises. So very likely, if he raises, say 4 hands in a row, I know that by the 5th time he raises, very likely he's playing raise only and I can shove any 2. But right now, the information which I have isn't telling me that I can shove any 2. I have a sample size of 1, but it's going to generally be indicative that he's going to be raising too much. So he raises and I fold my 6-2 off. I'm going to be defending extremely loose versus a raise, but 6-2 off is definitely going to be a fold. Okay. Queens, I go for a raise. I think it's important to have some raises as well. Queens is a hand which I don't really want to limp. A lot of people start limping queens like, oh, we're gonna trap this guy. But let's say I limp and I do trap him and he goes 3.5x. Then what? What can I do after he isolates me? I don't want to go all in with queens because if I go all in, I should make him fold his bluffs. And if he has a value hand which raises and gets in anyway, he's going to get this in when I raise. I don't lose any EV by raising there. However, if I raise and he has a hand like 6-5 offsuit, he's always going to call. But if I limp and he raises 6-5 offsuit, then I shove. It's going to be a little bit dicey because he didn't just fold his bluff. So I want to raise myself and start dictating the size of the pot myself. On this flop, I believe I want to go for a small bet. Min bet looks really good, I think. King high definitely has to continue with overs. On this turn, I definitely want to go for a double barrel. I don't block clubs. You can have a jack. You can have a 10. If he did call with like backdoors, he's going to have some king nines, some queen nines, some ace highs, which can still call the turn because I have so many draws. So I definitely want to barrel the turn for a large size. Like, yeah, this seems like a good size, and this is a size in which can make ace high kind of indifferent. I think it's kind of a nice size, and yep. I also don't want to go too big because I'm already quite shallow. Fold. 9-7, he goes for a raise again, so I'm kind of suspicious that he's raising a little bit too much, and I can probably go ahead and start shoving quite a lot. So I do go for a shove with my ace-4, which I'm really happy about, and we're going to get the fold. Making him fold, so much equity when he raises is so nice for us. King Jack, I can mix between limp and raise. Again, I don't have too many raises because he's going to have some shoves. King Jack offsuit is quite a nice hand to have as a limp sometimes. So I'm going to throw this one into my limping range. He is going to probably raise a6 for value to 3x. Oh, yeah, 3.5x. I'm obviously going to just call my King Jack. I don't think shoving here is very good. A lot of people go for a shove. Well, I've got King Jack. It must be the best hand heads up. But if I go all in with King Jack, I make him fold King 2. And he never goes all in with King. He never folds King Queen, so it doesn't really achieve much. And my hand's going to be a hand which can bluff catch down the streets against his bluffs. So I definitely want to just call with King Jack here. This is a flop texture which he could start checking. I'm going to have a lot of 7-8, 6-5, 7-9, 7-4s, pocket 5. Well, probably not pocket 5s or 6s, but I'm going to have a lot of middling cards. He's going to have more kind of high cards typically. He will isolate some of the middling cards too, but I'm going to be more dense around offsuit middling cards than he is. I'm limping 7-8 offsuit and calling a raise 100% of the time. He's not isolating 7-8 offsuit 100% of the time, so this is a better board for me, so I think checking is pretty good. King Jack, I don't think I want to start bluffing now. He's not going to fold Ace Jack or Ace King, so I don't really achieve too much, and I can still have the best hand. So I think checking here is pretty good. Turn 5, I think he can now start value betting his 6. I feel like I'm going to call with a lot of hands like Queen 9, King 9 that don't want to get check raised. I'm going to call with a worse 6, like 6-9, Jack 6 suited, Queen 6 suited, King 6 suited, which is going to check again. I can call with like King 10 of diamonds, which may check again because it has showdown value. So I think A6, I would definitely value bet the turn here. Yeah, and now on the river, you're just going to check, and I will probably check too. I have showdown value. I can beat Queen Jack suited. I can beat King 10 suited, which would raise pre-flop. I'm too far up in my range to bluff, I believe, right now. I think that's a well-played hand from myself. 7-5 suited should go for a limp. Again, he's raising, raising, raising. I want to punish this and start being aggressive. I shoved the ace-4 last time. I want to be aggressive again here, I believe. 3-bet non-all-in, I think here is pretty good. So I do want to have a range which is non-all-in. So I want to have a 3-bet bluffing range, which may be like King 2 offsuit, Jack 2 offsuit, Queen 2 offsuit, like very, very bad high card blockers to make him fold a hand like 7-6 offsuit, to make him fold a hand like Queen 8 offsuit, which has pretty good equity. So if I 3-bet Queen 2 and make him fold Queen 8, that's a pretty big win. So I also want to have some value hands in that range, and I think Ace Jack is okay to be in that range, but Ace Jack is also okay to be in a shoving range, but I definitely don't want to flat. Yeah, I think this is a good size, and this is a size in which puts his range into trouble because it seems like he's raising a bit too many hands. So when he does have a hand like, let's say 8-5 suited or maybe Jack 6 suited, where he would normally limp call these kind of hands, he's now getting put into a relatively tough spot versus my 3-bets. He should definitely continue here. I'm going to go for a C-bet on this board, I believe. Small. I think the sizing's pretty good. He's already in trouble with like Queen 5 of spades, King 7 of hearts. And the way the SPR is, I can just shove any turn with this action. So I think small on the flop makes sense. If he has a hand like 10-8 suited, he can maybe start folding or be indifferent. And yeah, I think I can still value bet queens and kings like this, and also I can also value bet like queen jack and king jack if I ever have this kind of hand, or if I have a hand like jack seven offsuit, I can also like value bet for this sizing. And if I have a hand like king x offsuit or queen x offsuit, it also doesn't. I don't really want to check call king two here, but I don't want to bet huge with king two, so it's kind of a nice sizing where I can maybe bet small now and then reevaluate later. Fold out some hands, and obviously he folds out this hand. Jack six, I would like to go with a limp. Yeah, I like that I'm limping here. I'm gonna have a very heavy limping range, and he goes for the check. Min bet looks good. He decides to call with 10 high with the backdoor flush draw, which seems okay. I'm gonna bet my whole range here, so it seems okay. Turn, I believe I should check my jack high. He's not gonna fold a 10. He's not gonna fold a queen. He's not gonna fold an ace. Doesn't seem like there's much merit in betting here, and he should check the river for sure, and I should just check back. I don't like this value bet. I'm not going to call with king high. Like, I have to think about what he could be bluffing with, right? Like, he has to bluff like 9-8 of hearts or something like this. So he's just going to run out of bluffs very quickly and have so many value bets. So when it's like that, it's going to be a situation where I don't want to be bluff catching very wide. I could potentially raise, but I don't think so. King five. I'm going just for a call here. I think that's good. And check calling versus a min bet. I beat enough of his range, and my hand plays well enough. On the turn, I think he should continue value betting. I'm still going to be forced to call some king highs, queen highs. He has like a bit of a free roll against my 9x. So like when I have 9-7, 9-6, he really wants to get all the money in because he gets to free roll me with his ace potential out kicking me. Like if I have 9-6, I can never improve here. Whereas when he has ace 9, he can improve to the ace. So he definitely doesn't want to slow play. Good bet by him. I think he can go even smaller, to be honest. I don't actually like the bet size. First of all, I'm gonna have a lot of hands like king. I have exact hands like here: king of clubs 5, queen of clubs 7 of clubs, jack of clubs, jack of hearts 5 of hearts. So he can make my hands indifferent for a smaller sizing. He doesn't need to risk 2.4 million. What ends up happening when he bets 2.4 million? He just isolates himself against the top of my range, which is going to be 9x or quads. So I don't like this sizing, to be honest. I think he should size smaller with his range. I should limp my 7-3. He should mix jack 6 off. It's not a bad hand to raise, and I should fold my 7-3. Seems good. Jack 7, he should limp. I should check. Yeah, again, he's probably just raising here too much. Jack 9 off is a hand which really likes to limp, I think. I decide to call my jack 7, and I'm going to check fold now versus small bet, which is obviously going to be fine on king high. Queen high, I'm still going to continue limping very aggressively or very passively, whichever way it is. Definitely going to start with a bet on the flop. It's a board where he has no ace-x because he shoves every ace-x pre-flop. I'm limping a lot of ace-x myself, so I just get to bet range on his board, and he should just fold his 10-4, most likely, even though he has a backdoor flush draw and straight draw. Seems well played by him. 5-4 offsuit, I'm going. Now he starts to limp king queen, which is a little bit backwards. Like he raised jack 9, and now he's limping king queen. King queen's a hand which can raise and then call a shove from me. So I think king queen definitely would rather be a raise here than jack 9 offsuit, which can't call a shove. 5-4, I decide to check. He should range bet because of the same thing we spoke about earlier, and I should go for a check call. Turn, I think, could have some leads, could have some checks. I think checking makes more sense when my range is so wide. Often you will lead a 4 when the board is ace-9-4 because in position doesn't have much 4x, and I have a lot of 4x myself. But ranges are so wide here where I have so much, like king highs, queen highs, jack highs, that the 4x is not super dense in my range. And he has a lot of 4x too because he limps a lot of 4x pre-flop and then just bets the flop with range. So it's a spot where people kind of get wrong a lot of the time, I think. But I think it's good for me to go for a check on the turn with my 4. River 6, and now I want to go for a value bet or a check. I think checking makes sense because most stuff which is going to call me is going to be like a 9 or an ace, and these hands are often going to value bet themselves. Then I get to get a raisin, and he's also going to get to the river with some hands like 7-8 offsuit, 10-7 offsuit, 10-6, 10-5 offsuit. These kind of hands too. So those kind of hands are going to bluff the river very often, and they can also go for a big size. I think 4-5 is a decent hand to go for a limp for a check raise on the river. I think that's reasonable. Jack 4 is not a bad hand to raise with blockers. When you have Jack 9, you don't want to raise and get shoved on, but when you have Jack 4, you don't mind to raise and get shoved on. You have a blocker, so it's not a bad hand to raise, but limping is fine too, obviously. Ace high kind of favors him again. I'm going to go for a check call with my queen 8. I go for a small raise, which is kind of interesting. I feel like he's just been so wide typically, and he's had a bunch of raises too. So when he's had a bunch of raises, I'm typically assuming that the stronger hands in his range, like ace queens and ace x in general, are going to either shove preflop or raise itself. So this is what I think is kind of a nice exploit, where if he's betting his whole range and he has 6x and he's betting his 8, let's say he has 8 2 suited, he's going to bet his 8 2 suited. If he has 6-5 offsuit, he's going to bet his 6-5 offsuit. If he has 10-9, he's going to bet his 10-9. If he has a hand like King Jack, he's going to bet his King Jack. So because he's betting so many of these hands, I think it's kind of a nice exploit to raise quite thinly for value. I don't have much ace x in my range to raise for value because I'm going to shove preflop. So I need to start raising some 8x. And I think raising an 8 without a spade and without a 9 and without a 7 and without a 5 and without a 10 is pretty nice. So I think queen 8's a really nice hand to raise here, just to keep him on his toes and have this thinnish value raise. He's tanking Jack 4. And yeah, he just folds. He's thinking, what the fuck? But he folds. Flop, I'm going to just bet range. And he calls. Turn is kind of interesting. I think my hand just has so much equity. If he does have a better 5, we're going to chop pretty often. If he has spades, I want to get loads of money in. If he has a 3, he's going to have to continue on a turn when there's so many draws out there. If he has ace high that check back 25 big blinds deep, which is potentially possible, like ace 2, ace 4, he's going to have to continue. If he's on like king 9 or king jack, he's going to have to continue. A lot of queen x here, I think, is going to check raise on the flop. So like when I bet queen 5-3, I think queen x is often going to check raise from the big blind. So when he's going to check raise queen x, I feel like my hand is going to be good very often. So I hope I go for a bet. Yeah, I like this. I like this. And horrible river card. And now my hand isn't strong enough to value bet. I hope I check. I hope I check. Check, 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 check. Don't value bet. Don't value bet. Okay, good, good. I think the hand was well played. And now I'm down to 15 big blinds against 45. I'm like, fuck my life. He should raise ace 4 and call a shove, or limp ace 4 and call a shove, or shove himself. Anything is fine, basically. I think limping and calling a shove is probably highest EV for his range. Jack 2 is too strong of a hand to raise and then face a shove, I think. So limp. This one. This is a board texture which he can do a lot of stuff on. I think my hand definitely wants to raise Jack 2 here. I want to proceed very aggressively on this flop, so he's betting range, right? Like, let's say he has 6-5 offsuit, he's betting. Let's say he has king 6, he's betting. So if I have a queen, I want to value raise. If I have a jack, I want to value raise. If I have a flush draw, I want to raise my equity. If I have a hand like 10-9, I want to raise and make him fold some hands. If I have a hand like 7-8 with a heart, I want to just fold. So I'm proceeding here mostly with aggression. So I think check raise and jack 2 makes a lot of sense. My 2 is really nice for me. It unblocks any kind of continues, and it blocks a lot of his immediate folds. So I think my sizing's pretty good. It puts like ace 4 offsuit into a tough spot. It puts like king 6 of spades into a tough spot. So I think raising's good. Turn is kind of interesting. Yeah, it's a board which kind of brings both the draws. He's still gonna have a lot of ace highs. He's still gonna have a lot of king highs. I think it's important to realize, and heads up, his range. Like, let's say this was cut up against the big blind. When I check raise and he continues, he has a lot of queen x in his range. Like his range is very queen x dense. But when it's heads up, ranges are so wide. He just has so much 10-9 offsuit, king 10 offsuit, king 9 offsuit. He has like 4 2 of hearts, 5 2 of hearts, all these kind of hands. He has underpairs like pocket 2s to pocket 9s. So like so much hands he has on the flop. It's like on the turn here, we want to go wider for value with our jack. We still always get called by the flush draws, which is really important. Whereas if this was, say, hijack against the big blind, he's going to fold a lot of these flush draws on the flop, on the turn versus a bet. So I think we don't get as much value with our underboat. But in this situation, I think it's good to go for the small bet. He should definitely call. River spade, I feel like we should go for either a bet again, a small bet rather than all in. When I'm bluffing, I could be bluffing a hand like 10-9 here, trying to make him fold like ace x of hearts or king x of hearts. So if I'm bluffing my 10-9s and 9-8s, and if I'm bluffing my 4-2 of hearts to make him fold king 10, stuff like that, I want to bet non all in here. I'm also value betting relatively wide, so I'm value betting as wide as like a jack here. So because of that, and I also have some spades I want to value bet. So because of that, I want a size around about 1.65 million, I think. I don't know what size I go for. I may have even checked. But I think going for another value bet is pretty good here. Wow, I really like this. I really like. I didn't remember this a week ago, so but I think this sizing is really good with my range and my hand. And you should obviously fold ace four now. You should obviously fold ace four. He has spades and queen and jack and pocket aces, all this kind of stuff. Even ace X without a heart, or even ace king of hearts. You know, he doesn't want to have the four of hearts or two of hearts or three of hearts in his range, I don't think. Raising 7-2, 8-2, 9-2, 7-3, 8-3 kind of hands, but the suited variation, I think is going to be better than the offsuit variation because he is going to limp call pretty often. On the flop here, I think going for a check raise is okay. I think going for a check call is okay. I think he should check his hand anyway. On the turn here, I would love to see myself overbet. I don't know what I did in game, but I believe that when the turn brings a overcard, I'm less incentivized to bet my 8x. I'm less incentivized to bet my 6x. He's going to improve more when the overcard comes because he's going to check back ace, king, king, queen, all that kind of stuff. So I want to go for a really large bet here. I'd like to see myself go for an overbet of like 1.5 million. I don't know what I do in game. Maybe I go for a check raise. Maybe I go for a small bet or something to make queen jack fold or something. But I think going for a really large bet here when I have so many bluffs and so much nuts in my range is good. Yeah, I really like this size and I think it's good. Ace Jack should probably still call versus this size, and he has an overcard to the king. I'm gonna have a lot of bluffs here. I'm probably not value betting A tier in his eyes. So I think Ace Jack continuing here is okay. He folds, which is quite tight, but also like against my value, he's in tough spot. My size ends up being pretty good there. Jack 9 limping I think is good. King 2 checking is good. This board texture I don't mind to go for a check back. I don't think he's gonna I think he's going to fold a better hand. So like the king highs, ace highs, queen highs aren't going to fold, and I'm not getting called by too many worse hands. If he does have a worse hand like 9-8 of clubs, he's going to check raise it rather than check call it. So I think it's a hand. Jack 9 is kind of the hand where I don't want to get check raised because he makes me fold my Jack 9. So I think this is the kind of spot where people bet too much because like, oh well, Jack 9, it's not really a great hand, but I'm not making any better hands fold. So I'd probably bet it in game, but I would really love to see myself check back here. Yes, I really like the check back. Turn he should probe really aggressively for like a big size in two. I like it. And now folding with the 9 seems reasonable. Queen 4 should go limp. I would love to see myself shove here. I think he's playing very wide VPIP. King 5's a hand which really likes to shove. It has equity against almost everything. It's going to make King 6 fold, King 7 fold, King 8 fold, King 9 fold. It's a hand which really likes to go into the shoving range. I hope I find the shove. I don't remember if I do, but I would love to see myself find a shoving game and be on point. Shove. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I like the shove. It's good. King Queen going for a limp looks good. And I'm going to keep starting to value bet the flop. And I'm going to go for free streets here. On the turn here, he's going to have so many draws. Hearts, clubs, 10-9s, king 10s, king 9s. Going for a really big bet makes sense. On these kind of drawy boards, we often do want to go for an overbet or a pot-sized bet because we're not going to value bet that thinly and we're going to put pressure on all those draws, try to get maximum equity ourselves. Lots of our bluffs are going to have equity, so we don't mind doing a big bet. Whereas sometimes you just bluff to make him fold out like a slightly better bluff catcher. Whereas on this board, when we're bluffing, we're going to bluff hands with equity, so we don't mind going for a big sizing. Queen 5 is forced to call. River 9, I believe I should shove here. There's so many draws out there. I believe I shouldn't shove too much wider than say Queen 7. But I think if I have a hand like Queen 7 or better, I'm gonna typically go for the all-in because the main important thing here is that he's gonna raise the flop with a better queen than Queen 7 very often. So he's often gonna be left with like worse Queen X, or he's gonna have like Jack X, or maybe he has a draw. Maybe he has like a 9, like 10-9 or King 9, which rivered a pair, blocks some of my straights. So he's gonna find it. I think in these kind of situations, people call too much. So like he should obviously call Queen 5 very often. I think people end up calling like all their jacks and their 9s pretty too much here. So I definitely want to value shove my Queen King here. I think all in is the only size, and anything else I'll be disappointed with myself. Just tanking the sizing, I guess. I go for the shove, which I like, and I think he has a tough spot. Like it's not like he has like a slam dunk call because a lot of my bluffs get there. Like my king tens get there, my nine tens get there, my king nines get there. I have better queen X, I have aces, I have kings, I have pocket jacks. So like my bluffs at this point are going to be like 5-3, 5-6, 6-3, those kind of hands. Like I'm going to check ace five and ace three on the turn very often. So he has a five in his hand, which is not great. He would probably rather bluff catch the river with say jack 10 or king jack than queen five because blocking his five is not going to be too great for him. But same time, he has heads up against pads 1-1-6-1 who likes the bluff, so it's going to be a tough spot for him to fold. Let's see what he does. He calls, so yeah. Nothing he can do really. King three here. Yeah, I was gonna say metagame wise, it seems like he limped really quickly, and of 12 big blinds, when he's gonna have a spot which like he could shove like ace two off, or he could shove like king seven off or king eight off, he's gonna like tank a long time because he probably doesn't know like 12 big blind ranges heads up so much. So when he like limps quickly, to me it feels like a very medium strength hand. So for that reason, shoving king three makes a lot of sense. And I like that I kind of punish here. And I think King X is a good hand to go for a shove there. So I like that. Pocket fives, I can just shove in myself. Makes a lot of sense. He calls King 8, and we hopefully win. No, he hits a king on the river, so kind of unfortunate. We now go from one card away from winning to close stacks again. But it's fine. I'm ready for the heads up gruel. Sevens here, I think raising or limping is fine. It's a kind of hand which kind of benefits from raising. If I have a hand like King Jack, it plays better post flop. We can both flop top pairs. I can cooler him, stuff like that. But with sevens, we benefit more from protection and taking the pot down pre-flop or on the flop because more overcards can come. So sevens is more incentivized to raise than a hand, let's say King Queen or Ace Jack or something. So I like that I raise sevens here. King four should call. He three bets. I've been playing really tight in terms of raising so far. It's like there's no real reason to go after me. And King 4 actually plays really good. Like your hand is a strong hand. Heads up, King High is good. I would rather use like 10 deuce or 10-4 because King High is just like too strong heads up. So I think this kind of maybe comes a lot from say MTT environment where button versus big blind you free bet King 4 because it's got good blockers. But here I think I'm limping a lot of my King X and it's better for him to use like 10-4 or 9-4 or something. Sevens, I'm all in, hopefully. This is also a good reason about sevens, right? Like when I raise and get a free bet, we have such a nice spot to 4-bet shove. Whereas when I have king queen and he free bets, it's kind of weird 4-bet shoving king queen because I never make him fold like many hands with equity. Like he always has like a king four, a king five, a queen four, a queen five. So yeah, sevens we fold out a little bit more equity than king queen, and king queen also realizes more equity against king four than say pocket sevens would do because we can cooler him too. I go for the raise, 10-9. I go for the limp, sorry, 10-9 checks. This is a board which I may want to have a check back. I don't want to get raised by a jack or a 10 or a straight draw, so checking back ace 8 here makes a lot of sense. I'm going to be perceived to be very showdown value heavy when I check back the flop, so we can maybe overfold versus some turn probes. He goes for a big size, and I really hope I find a fold here. I probably don't fold here, right? And I'm probably going to call because I'm probably like too paranoid about where I am in my range and stuff like this. But if I can find the fold here, I'm going to be really happy with myself. I promise I haven't seen what's going on or anything. I don't remember all the hands, but I feel like the eight's a very bad hand card to have. Blocking 8-9, blocking queen 8, blocking 7-8. And I think he's going to underbluff the spot as far as I know. And he's going to also be wide for value. So every 10 is going into this range. Every jack is going into this range. So I hope I fold. I can see why I call if I do call. I fold, and I'm very proud about that fold. That's good, I think. Ace 8 is going to most likely go for a shove. King 8 is going to be close. Probably we're going to have to call. He's going to just shove so much hands that we have good equity against. And when he has like king queens and stuff like that, I think he's going to trap. And I think he's going to shove, hands like queen 10 offsuit, queen jack offsuit, king 2 suited, king 5 suited, 9-8 suited. We should do well against lots of hands where king 8 is going to be a call, I think. This is a really important one, obviously. Diamond? No. Okay, we lose another all in, but it's okay. We're going to keep battling. I limp 5-ball suited. King 2 is going to check. And I'm going to start by bluffing the flop. King high, could call, could fold. Probably folds okay here. Turn I'm going to barrel. I hope I go for a large sizen. Yeah, I think this is very good. I'm going to check a queen on the turn. I'm going to have these high equity hands, which I'm going to bluff with. And if I have an ace or like 2-pair or anything like that, I really want to put loads of money into the pot. So I'm going for a large size, get the fold. Obviously, this guy's always folding this hand anyway. Ace 9, I hope I raise non-all in. So I want to go to like 2.1 million here. I'd probably go for a shoving game, but I think it's better to induce when we're this deep. But I'd probably go for a shoving game. Oh no, I go for this side. That's good. Get it fold this time, which is fine. King 9, I think limping looks good. He isolates 10-8 offsuit, which is kind of aggressive. So how much kind of likes to check. I'm never going to fold 10-9. I'm never going to fold Jack 8 or Queen 8 or King 8. So you don't really achieve too much by raising 10-8. I'm obviously calling my King 9. He now starts betting. I never fold King 9. I definitely don't want to raise. I want him to... He's going to have some hands with 0% equity, like Queen 5 of diamonds or something. So I don't want to raise here. I want to let him improve or bluff or whatever. Turn ace is interesting. He doesn't actually have that much ace-x in his range. A lot of ace-x shoves pre-flop, I think. So I think checking... I think I'm not too scared of the ace. I think when he does have a bluff, he's going to bluff the ace quite aggressively. So I'm happy to obviously keep calling my King 9, especially as I have a flush draw. On a turn here, I don't really like his bluff. Like, I'm not going to fold a king ever. I have some ace-x in my range still, like suited ace-x. I'm not going to fold like clubs. I'm not going to fold hearts. I'm not going to fold 5-6 suited. So like, he's making me fold like a 4 that I limp called pre-flop with. I have every suited king. I have loads of offsuit kings. I have a lot of 7x. I have a lot of club draws. I have a lot of Jack 10, Queen 10, Queen Jack, which I'm not going to fold. So I think he should probably just have a discipline and give up, I think. He even blocks a hand like 8-5 and 8-6, which I'm always going to have on the flop and which I'm going to fold on the turn. So yeah, I wouldn't go for the double barrel. On the river, he should definitely give up his hand. And I should just check back. My hand doesn't have a value bet here. He's going to check queens on the turn, for example. I'm not going to get called by worse. Please check pads. Don't go for the thin value. Don't go for the thin value. Check. This would be a bad bet. Okay, I checked. That's good. Through a6, I'm going to go for a shove, hopefully. Shove. Don't limp. I want to have some shoves here. I think a6 is a good hand to implement and strengthen some of my shoving range. Yes, I like that. This is a cooler. He's going to limp. I'm going to shove. Going to be a third all-in that we lose, probably, here. 4 all-in. I think 4 all-ins now. 10. Deuce. All right, another one to him. Bit of a cooler there, I think. Ace-10, Ace-Jack, heads up. And again, he's now back in the lead. But we're just going to grind away. King 7 is going to go for a limp. I'm going to check my 10-7. I'm going to go for a check raise here with 10-7, I think. I can make him fold a hand like King 7, A7. I can make him fold a hand like King 5. He's going to continue with hands that do okay against, some worse flush draws, some ace-highs, some pairs, stuff like this. So I definitely want to check raise my hand, especially when I have a backdoor straight draw too. This should get the job done. King 7 should fold. Calls King 7, which I think is going to be too wide. You know, your King of Clubs is quite a crucial card. I'm going to bluff raise like King of Clubs X as my like non-equity bluffs. So I would just give up this hand. The turn with 10-7, I think I want to go into a check call mode. I'm not going to make him fold a better draw. He's not going to fold Queen X. He's not going to fold Jack X. He shouldn't have many King X unless he has King 10, which won't fold, King 9, which won't fold, or Ace King, which won't fold. So my hand doesn't want to put a lot of money into the pot here. It mostly wants to just check. And I think check calling looks like the play. So I hope I go for a check call. Good start. He should just check back anyway, really, King 7. Like, he's not getting any better hands to fold. I'm gonna have a queen a bunch still. Yeah, I don't particularly like this. Well, it's a sick value bet as played. If I know he has a hand, I'm obviously gonna check shove, but I don't expect it. River at 10, and I'm gonna check. And he should definitely bluff all in on the 10. He blocks like King 9 of clubs, which is gonna be like my strongest hand here. I'm gonna have a lot of maybe like a 4, which is check raised for whatever reason on the flop, and now just check calls the turn. I'm going to have some queen X, like queen 3 of hearts, which check raises and then checks the turn. So he definitely wants to bluff king 7, essentially. And he definitely wants to go all in. He's value betting a jack or better. He's not value betting like queen 6 or anything like this. So definitely wants to bluff, definitely wants to go all in, and then I have to fold. Definitely wants to bluff here. See what happens. He's tanking it down. He checks, and I think he should definitely have pulled the trigger there. 8s, I go for a raise. Same thing as always. These like 8s, 7s, 9s, they play really, really well as raises typically. They don't mind the guy 3-bet folding. They don't mind the guy shoving. They want to kind of force action now, and they don't mind to get some protection against like 10 deuce off if it folds. It's fine. 7-4. I'm going to probably check back, and I'm going to check raise against the bet, I believe. It's kind of close. Okay, turn the nuts. I want to go for a large size in here. Close to pot, I think, if not over. I like the size, and if he has a hand like king 10, he's going to fold versus any size, I believe. So I want to bet this kind of size in to get value versus his continues, which are going to be inelastic, most likely. If he ever has a 4, a 7, 8, a 6, a jack, a 5, a 3, he's always going to call. On this river, it's really interesting. So I think this is the kind of spot where people just go for shove because I have the nuts and I have like the super nuts. But in reality here, this guy has so many weak hands, like so much 5x, so much 6x, so much 3x, so much of those kind of hands. Maybe like 7s through to 9s, which he doesn't want to get check raised on the flop. So he has very little strong hands. Like he doesn't have jack 6, jack 5, pocket 5s, pocket 6s, jack 3, 6 3, 5 3. These hands are sometimes going to raise a turn, but very, very, very likely bet flop, right? So because he doesn't have many strong bluff catchers here, I think I want to go for a non-all-in sizing because winning this pot is so crucial. He has 8 million. What I want to do here is I don't want to go for the heart. I don't want to go for the throat. I want to go for the leg. I want to chop that leg off right now and make it tougher for him to play in the future and basically not secure the win, but in secure the chances of me winning here more often. I'm going to win this tournament, 80% of the time, 90% of the time if I've chopped off a leg. If I try to slit the throat and he dodges it and he still has his throat available, what ends up happening is essentially he's going to just win the tournament more often. I'm not going to win the tournament as often. So what I want to go for here essentially is a non-all-in bet, I think. And I want to go for a sizing of like 4 million, I believe. Chop off half of his leg. Yeah. 3.5 million, I think, ends up being a really good size. It looks very bluffy. It looks like I have a hand like 7-8, which wants to bluff to make his hearts fold, something like that. So, yeah, I believe that this is a pretty nice sizing. We're praying for the call from Queen 6. Call. I'm pads. I have 9-8. I have 9-7. I have hearts. I would go bigger with a 4. That's what they think. Yeah, we get the call. We get the call, and he's down to 5 big blinds, and that's just going to be so crucial for us. We now have 25 million against 4. If we went for the throat, I don't think we get the call because we should have too many nuts in our range. So I really like that. And Jack 4 now, we're going to limp. And we definitely want to have a limping range of 6 big blinds. On the flop, we want to have a check. We're going to get shoved on by better hands always and some worse hands. Turn is interesting. I think just checking down and then bluffing the river looks pretty good. Maybe I just give up as well there. I like it. I can rep an 8 here pretty well. If I have an ace, I'm going to shove pre-flop and I'm not going to bluff the river. If I have a hand like 4-3, it's a straight. Like, it's so hard for me to have air here. If he has a 5 or 6, he's in a really tough spot. So I think it's a really good sizing. Fold your jack 5. Fold your jack 5. It looks greedy with the metagame too because he's lost a lot of chips. It doesn't look like he's going to fold a pair here. This is a really good hand to bet, I think. Fold jack 5. Come on. Yes, we love to see it. We love to see it. He shoves, we find a fold. 10-4 off, I limp. Hopefully he shoves, I fold. I'm happy. 10-7, he should not fold. He should limp his hand. 7-3, I limp. He should shove. He's thinking about doing something stupid, like not stupid. He's thinking about doing non-all-in, but I obviously fold versus a shove. He shoves the jack 6 suited, I think. Or does he limp? He's thinking what to do. I think shoving's pretty good. I fold jack 7 off. It's effective. Jack 3, I limp. He should check. Flop. He flopped 2 pair. I'm gonna go broke here probably, aren't I? Because King X is gonna go all in pre-flop for him always. So I'm just gonna go broke here. He goes for the call probably. Yeah, it's fine. Turn 5, very bad for me. His range is so 5x heavy. Like Queen 10 is going to go all in pre-flop for him. Spades are going to shove the flop. So that 5 is so bad for me. So I'm going to check my jack here always. Don't value bet. Yeah, good. He should bet big on the river. And I hope I can somehow find a fold. I don't think I'll find a fold because he's going to have like 9-8 and 9-10 and stuff. But depends on his size and maybe I can get Spidey sense and his timing. Yeah, this is really, really big, really greedy. He's always going to do this with a 5. Always going to do this with a 5. He never has a king because that goes all in earlier. So he's representing a 5 or air. I think I can get away here. This to me looks, maybe it looks really strong to me now because I see the action, but I think if I really am on my A game, I can find a fold here. My free's a really good kicker. It doesn't block any bluffs, but this just feels so bluffy, like 1.1x pot. Feels so bluffy to me. I feel like 10-8, 10-9 will go like 2.7 million or 2.5 or 2 million or 1.8 million. This just feels so much like a 5, and he has so many 5s in his range. Come on, Pads. Find the hero fold. Find the hero fold. Yes! We love to see it. Don't give these guys any chips. Don't give them their legs back. Queen 10 should go all in. Ace 2 should call. Call, Ace 2 for 10 big blinds. Lost 4 lanes so far. We need to win the lucky 5th one. This is for, again, even if I lose this, I'm still going to be really in the mixer, so I don't mind too much. I'm kind of enjoying the heads up at this stage, I guess. Rick, deuce is good. Free is good. Okay, great. That's really good. Okay, you can see here that I end up cashing for the 48 million. 48 million, I wish. 48k, he gets 39k. So that was around about, it looks like it was $11,000 heads up match, but it was actually over $20,000 heads up match because he had a bigger bounty than me going into heads up because he was knocking some of the other players out. So if he won the tournament, he would have got more money too. And if I came second, I would have got like 29k rather than his 39k he got. So it was actually over $20,000 heads up match, which is mad. And I'm really happy how I played. I love heads up. I think heads up is such an important part of the course, part of poker, important everything like in MTTs. I think people don't play it so great, don't have the right mechanics, haven't studied it. Maybe they haven't bought the sims for heads up, stuff like that. I think Pablos played really well. You know, he's a really good player. I think he played great. Like he played very good. I think he's above average in terms of MTT players at heads up. But I'm really happy how I played too, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys can take some stuff away from it. And yeah, please let me know some feedback information in the chat box. And in chat box, what's a chat box? In the comments. My magic hands are getting like feisty. I'm having to like lock them down under the table. But yeah, thanks for watching and see you guys in the comments. Thanks so much.